Hey, this is Brent Jensen. You're listening to No Sleep Till Sudbury, the show where we talk about the music that makes your skin vibrate. And joining me today is lead singer of Australian rock band The Lazies, Leon Harrison. Leon, thanks for joining me, man.
How you going, mate?
Good. How you holding up during COVID?
Oh, yeah, not too bad. Getting over it. Looking forward to socializing again.
Yeah, no kidding.
And actually getting in and recording some music because everything is now online. So been writing music online, as we discussed, the bandwagon concepts online. So to actually get some physical time with people will be a nice change.
Yeah, no, definitely for everybody. So, Leon, the Lazies is an Australian band who found a second home in Canada. Now, you have become one of the hottest bands in the country.
Yeah, right. As I said, that's nice to hear. Yeah, Canada's a great second home, if not our first, well, my first home and Matt's first home right now. And it's been an incredible journey for the past 6 years, I think, since 2014 we first came here, and it's been a whirlwind, yeah.
Yeah. And it all started, I think, at Canadian Music Week, is that right?
Yeah, it did, yeah. We got booked by Ralph James, and Ian Dessard decided to show up to our show at the Bovine, and he wanted to work with us, and jack shit was going on at home, so we said, let's pack a backpack and get out of here. So that's what we did.
Wow.
Yeah, the Australian music industry isn't up there in my books.
Yeah, well, they do something different. I think they listen to a lot of indie pop down there right now, I think.
Yeah, they do that, and I don't know. It's kind of weird because, you know, I've got friends like in the Dead Love, and there's a band called Fangs, which actually has a Canadian lead singer of all things. So he's kind of doing what we're doing down there, and you know, they're selling tickets and they're getting out there and they're playing and they do really well, and then the radio just doesn't want to touch them. So it's like thanks for nothing. So
yeah,
I can't really accept their model. So that's just me personally.
Well, we're happy to have you up here, my friend. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, thank you.
I've seen you guys live a couple times, and you guys bring it, man. The last show I was at, your guitar player Matt came out in the crowd mid-song and jumped up on somebody's table to do his solo.
He loves doing that. His whole motto and live show is about making everyone love him. He's a typical lead guitarist. So I'm left to do all the legwork, and he gets all the credit.
So, Leon, another project that you're involved in is Bandwagon, as you mentioned earlier. And Bandwagon is an online music mentoring and songwriting workshop initiative, right?
Yeah. It's definitely angled at the more personalized mentorship rather than sort of the master classes we're getting used to seeing pop up.
Mm-hmm.
But scaling it, I do want to have a section of it where it's, you know, like I want to call it Ground Zero. It's like aimed at people who want to get a full synopsis on songwriting and the music industry without, you know, having to delve right into the sort of personalized mentoring aspect. But definitely we offer that service if a band's really serious and, you know, likes a particular mentor. Like we have specific mentors out of different bands, like John from Monster Truck, Kenda from Creepshow, Johnny from Standstills, and we've got Daryl from Indie Week involved as a mentor, and he wants to develop some acts. And actually my manager from Germany, who's been in the business 30 years. And I'm just about to announce Ryan Roxy, who's one of the guitarists in the Alice Cooper band.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, the platform's there for aspiring songwriters. If they want to take it, it's there. If they don't, then don't. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple.
That's a great program.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like both my parents are teachers, and you know, there's a lot of downtime in music and things like that. So I started mentoring bands even back in 2017, and didn't fully embrace the whole online aspect to it. It was more in person, but with this virus, good idea to launch it online. And yeah, I've worked with like 15 bands over 2 months, I think it is. It's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, working with a high school band as well. I tell you what, the singer guitar, his name's Nick. He's a talent. He's only 17.
Where is he, Leon? Is he in Toronto or is he?
Yeah, they're in a suburb out of Toronto, Markham, I think it is.
Oh, Markham, yeah, north.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's really, really cool. Like I believe in mentorship 100%. I've always had mentors, whether they've been drum teachers or music teachers or, older kids in the community who in a garage jamming. Everyone has their mentors. So this is kind of just opening up a can of worms where you don't necessarily have to have the relationship already formed. You can form it with somebody and hopefully it's a good fit, just like anything, really.
Well, I think it's great that you pay it forward that way. Good on you, man.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, thank you.
So you've got your songs here, and it's a good little list, man. I like it. So you ready to get into them?
It's definitely some songs that people will go, "Oh, what, you like that song?" But yeah, I like a vast range of genres and styles and all that sort of stuff. I think there's a whole range of things that come with different musicians, and different moods and different emotions and things like that.
Certainly. Yeah. I think it's funny when people do that. They assume that if you were a heavy rock musician that you only like heavy rock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think there's people out there like that. But yeah, obviously, like when you think about it, it's like just saying, would you just eat the one meal every night of the week? Probably not.
Yeah.
You'd want to try up a few different cultures and stuff,
Exactly. Yeah.
Cuisines.
All right. So your first one, Leon, is Silverchair and Emotional Sickness.
Had to be the first. Silverchair is my ultimate favorite band, and they were like my pin-up boys when I was, when I was about 13. They were about 15, and they were tackling and dominating America, and they were just basically child stars, really.
Yeah.
They were like Australia's answer to Nirvana, and it's like, hey, we're still here. These boys from Newcastle, and I ended up through the grapevine once having Christmas lunch with the bass player.
Oh.
Kind of fanboyed out. Yeah, he was dating someone within the extended family, which was a real thrill. And he was a really nice guy, actually. We got along super well. And, Motion Sickness, I mean, speaks for itself in some respects. Like, it was off Neon Ballroom. Daniel Johns had been through some mental health issues and all that anorexia and, all the trials and tribulations, I guess, of being a huge success by the age of 19, which is an absolute child.
Yeah.
So when I was 19, God damn it, I can't even remember. But I know, right? It's getting to that point. So, yeah, I've even got the dancers from the cover of Neon Ballroom tattooed on me. I love it. So they hold a big place in my musical heart. I think every record from Silverchair is a great progression. So they're a great band. They always progress, very talented, and they're Australian, so I love it. And they got the support of the Australian music industry. Funny that.
What year did they come out? This is like late 90s. Is that right?
Yeah, I think 97, something like that. And then, Neon Ballroom was 99.
Yeah.
And I think they were about 20 years old. And the records, like they had David I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but this guy was like just this incredible pianist, right? And like they'd just get him in the studio and just like get him to play stuff and they'd arrange it. And I just think like being a musician myself, like what went down as 20-year-olds is remarkable for that record.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's crazy, 20 years old.
Yeah.
The music that we recorded at 20, I wouldn't want anyone to hear. No.
That's not going to come out later in your career as
probably
a rarity, B-sides and rarities.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did an album when we were about, it was 2010, so what's that, 10 years ago? Yeah, I was 25, so I was 5 years past that, so, and that's shit. I don't know, man, there must have been something in the water back in the day. They were just a very talented band, a three-piece too, like, wow.
Your next pick here, it's AC/DC, but it's not You Shook Me All Night Long, thank God. It's Shoot to Thrill.
Yeah. I was thinking about which AC/DC song made me most excited when I ever listened to it, because I'm a Bon Scott guy really at heart, But Shoot to Thrill is just insane. What a rock song. When they were first starting out, or first breaking into that area and stuff like that. So I love Bon Scott. But yeah, like when I thought about my ultimate AC/DC song, I think it has to be Shoot to Thrill. It's just from start to finish. It's crazy. And I was saying that when I watched their doco, it's actually about housewives addicted to like prescription drugs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was saying all the housewives are home just getting high, and the husband's out with the lunchbox.
Wow, that is funny. I had no idea, and I love that song.
Yeah, it's a cracker. Didn't they do an Iron Man rendition or something?
Yeah. Recently they did for the Iron Man movie. Yeah.
Great band and a great sort of pinnacle to aim towards as a young rock band. Well, we're not that young, but you know what I mean? Like, if you can set your sights to something of that degree, then you know, and achieve 70% of it, you're doing all right, because they're just an incredible force.
I'd give you more credit than that. I think you're at more than 70. I was just listening to Half Mast Blues actually before we started talking, and you guys have that AC/DC crunch that I love.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, we definitely strive to have those roots. We're from Australia, and it's always sort of driven down your throat as an Aussie when you grow up. It's just AC/DC, or it was anyway. So, yeah, it's great to sort of have that behind us.
Did you, Leon, as an Australian, did you ever get into Rose Tattoo?
Yeah, for sure. We've played with Rose Tattoo a few times, and then we did a festival in Spain, and as we finished, they were starting, so we went down to their stage and got pretty loose for a while until we had to leave the festival. It was good.
That's awesome. They're a band that don't get a lot of credit, I find. Enough credit, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty successful still in Europe and places like that. But, you know, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So they're a great Aussie pub rock band, though, you know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Next on your list, Coldplay and Oh.
Yeah. If you don't know, I do a side project called All or Nothing, and it's strictly with a just piano vocal at the moment. And it's with a guy called Jonathan. I think he's in his 50s or something, but he's like classically trained, and I've always had an interest in that. And Chris Martin is an absolute genius on the piano, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, imagine sitting around the campfire with that guy. Like, you just, not many human beings are capable of the talent he has. So, yeah. You know, yeah, you're gonna cop the flack that, you know, they're whatever, but like at the end of the day, man, that guy's an insane talent, and he writes great choruses, great songs. When I first heard that Ghost Stories record, it was one of those records like they have out right now that they take a break from touring, but they put a record out there. Mm-hmm. And it was just a different flavor, almost getting back to the Parachute style. And I love that. I love it. You know, some people like death metal. I can't fucking stand it. I like Coldplay. What are you going to do about it?
Going back to Parachutes, you think about that piano line in Trouble, right? Very simple, but that piano melody is so, it sticks with you, man. It's just genius.
Yeah, that's it, man. And, you know, like as I go through my career and do interviews and all that, you know, you ask for 5 songs and I've got to be open and honest about it, right? So there was another band I was going to include that I didn't, but like War on Drugs, bands like that, Tame Impala.
Yeah.
I love all that sort of stuff. Even though I think Tame Impala hate the Lazies because we had a fight at the Espy.
Oh, did you really?
In Melbourne about over a decade ago. Yeah, we were just all drinking and being dickheads. I love their records. So, yeah, I mean, closing that, I would like everyone to go check out my project, All or Nothing. It's there's only 4 songs at the moment, but through my journey of music, I'm going to keep adding to the collection. And it got a really good and positive response. I was pretty blown away because I expected people to not really understand that side of a crazy beer-fueled rock and roller, but, you know, people were really nice about it, which is good.
Good. All right, your next tune, Leon, is Rage Against the Machine and Bullet in the Head.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a good one, man. That's it speaks for itself, doesn't it? I don't know. Yeah. Rage Against the Machine, rhythmically and their dynamics, and Zach De La Rocca, he's still one of my favorite frontmen ever. Yeah. Even though he tours once every 20 years. They'd be so pissed off now, though, because they finally were going to come back. I saw him 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were finally going to come back, and then this virus just killed everything. So, that would have been disappointing for them. Yeah, I mean, that song, I was lucky enough to work with Garth Richardson, who produced that record. Yeah, he's out in Vancouver. He did Shake It Like You Mean It with us, which was our first single in Canada. And then, Rage always just held a great spot in my musical collection because they're just so real and they just disrupted everything.
Oh, yeah.
Their crowds go nuts. Their lyrics have total meaning. What more can you ask for a band that, Coldplay, like, they're so positive and honest in their approach, and then Rage Against the Machine is so sort of engaging and not negative, but just truthful in their approach. Like, it's the big fuck you to the man, Rage Against the Machine. That's what music's about. If I like, this is just me, man, and the Lazies is as honest as they come to, but like, if I smell bullshit in music, I just don't like it. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine, and like, I mean, that bridge when they break it down.
Yeah.
This is, what's the program called again? Music that makes your skin vibrate or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So when they break that down and he's just like standing in line, you're bowing down to the flag, you got a bullet in the head, and he just builds it up with that line.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet in the head, and then he just fucking loses his shit.
I remember when this came out in the early 90s, and it was like a fucking tsunami. Like, it just, yeah. You know what I mean?
No doubt. No doubt at all in my mind, man. I mean, I'd give anything to have been in a band in the 90s, touring and all that. I don't know, like, whether I'd still be alive, but...
Probably not.
It would have been such a cool time, no smartphones, no internet, no fucking Instagram and all the bullshit that created. Yeah. And but you just only got to watch the old footage of bands like that and Soundgarden and all those bands that came through. Like, the crowd people just look normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't look all fucked up. Like, the wave of the internet just fucking did some weird shit to society, man. And that was the end of it all, man. That was the end of the real deal of everything, really.
Yeah.
It was sort of built to that point, didn't it? And then 2000 kicked over, and technology just took over and just changed the face of the earth. And now a virus has done that as well. So
yeah,
it would have been a great time to be alive. I was obviously alive, but I was a bit young to be going around to festivals and all that sort of stuff.
You're right, man. That was the last real, you think about bands of that time, the last real rock and roll.
Yeah.
The real gritty, authentic stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like a world where you couldn't, I don't know, how do you explain it quickly? But it's like a world where you didn't get influenced by fucking useless bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, music meant something. And like I said, like, Instagram and all the garbage that's brought about has just redefined the way that society operates and how people dress and look and want to be, and they're fucking sticking needles in their face these days, and it's just like that shit didn't exist back then. Like, it was so much pure. I think that was reflected in the music. So let's hang on to that.
Yeah.
I love it when, at first I didn't really understand the whole Tool thing and Jack White saying no photos and all that sort of stuff. And you hear horror stories of people getting kicked out and shit like that. But the real incentive behind it is to leave that shit outside because they don't believe in that. And rightly so, they spend a ton of money on lasers and a ton of money on production, and it cheapens it when people start taking video recordings. Like, you're not in the photo pit. Enjoy the show. Like, you don't have to gloat that you're somewhere that someone else isn't. You know what I mean?
That's what I don't like about that. It's like selfies. Just enjoy the moment.
I mean, we've all been victim to doing a selfie or two, but
yeah, but people take it way too far. I think you'll agree. It's just ridiculous.
I would like to extend that into saying influencers. Like, I can't believe some of the people. They're fucking aliens that I'm starting to see on Instagram. It's like, I don't see them in the street. What do they just do? Hide out in fucking Spain somewhere and just like fucking frequent the beach half clad? I don't know what they do, but it's just like you can't really base having an influence on something in society without severe consequence just on pure data and numbers that people follow you. And they're not following a scientist or a doctor or someone with a fucking brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the sad part. They're following somebody who takes pictures of their food.
That's the very sad part. Look at those idiots that did that fire festival. They were so smart. They were so smart. All they needed to do was tap into 10 fucking influencers and their resources through all this data, but then they couldn't sustain it. They didn't have the framework for the festival. So they had some brains and not a lot of brains. You know what I mean?
That was a debacle, that whole fire festival.
What a fucking... Oh, they're so lucky that no one died or got hurt.
Oh,
I watched it. I didn't even know it was on Netflix. I watched it and I was just like, what is this? And then you got all these influencers going, oh, they promised me this. It's like, fuck off. How's that sound? Just fuck off. No one cares. Have we not learnt through all this shit that somebody with 1 million followers that doesn't fucking mean anything? Like, it's trivial. Give me someone who's created something or is talented at something or, you know, that's where we should be focusing our energy.
Totally agree.
You know? What a rant.
Hey, we have time, right?
Good.
All right, one more tune here, Leon. It's Pink Floyd and Comfortably Numb.
Oh, what a great segue. Yeah, man. I mean, when that chorus kicks in, it's just like fucking a knife going through butter, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Hot knife going through butter. It's an incredible sentiment and message to people to get back to being like in a conscious state of mind. Don't get comfortably numb. Like, I think it's about everybody, the fact that, you know, you're never going to lose touch with the pain that you felt in life, but like stay present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Bob Ezrin production, I believe, which is why I really started getting into it because, again, Garth from Vancouver, who I was really lucky to spend a lot of time with, he was Rage's producer. He's very good friends with Bob, and I got to meet Bob once, actually. Really nice guy.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
1979. So, I mean, they were ahead of the times. I mean, imagine what they think now.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, though, like getting back to the discussion of the world and whatnot, there's so many people that aren't comfortably numb, and all the tech savage human beings, they're savages. They're so intelligent. The new wave of brainiacs in the world, right? But it might be the technology that they're creating that is causing people to be comfortably numb. You know what I mean? So it's a double-sided sword, really. It's a funny one.
Well, I think all that technology is there, but the depth is no longer there, and the substance.
Yeah, I'd really like to know, because I don't get to know these things. But like, what the impact of taking away the numeral of how many likes people actually got for a photo, and now they took that away. So that was kind of like a currency in my belief. You know, if you had 100,000 likes on something, well, obviously you were some kind of superior. So now that people can't see that, it's like, well, how many people did like it? And then they start going, well, who really cares who liked it? And then they start switching off. So I wonder whether there was a grand scheme behind that because idiots were just getting too much recognition. I don't know.
I support that. It sets up this almost like a social class system.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And it wasn't really ever constructed around creativity or around anything other than image, which is disastrous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For young women and men growing up, like in a world where they didn't get raised kicking a football down at the Oval, they're raised in a digital world, and, you know, that can become terrifying for people that, you know, don't look like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things like that. That's the reality.
Wow, who knew that we were going to get so deep on this episode?
Sorry, man. That's just me.
That's great. That's great.
Probably why I can't sustain a girlfriend. They're just like, shut up, man. Just fucking go to work and come home and ask what's for dinner. Fuck off.
Well, Leon, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the chat.
Thanks, Grant. Anytime. I like the idea when you reached out to me to get involved, and it's been great. I mean, you probably have to do a bit of editing. And I'm going to have a bunch of influencers fucking hating me, sending rockets to my door.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
I'll give a shout out if I can to Fortunate Losers. Do you know those guys at all? I think they're from Sudbury.
Oh, yeah. How do you know that?
So I worked with them through Bandwagon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, they're great guys. Real passionate and just hardworking. So a little shout out to those guys if you got through the interview this far.
Very cool.
All right, mate. Well, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. And when you guys get back out there, well, I'll keep in touch, but when you guys get back out there, I'm going to come see you.
Amazing. Yeah, we can't wait. We've got a new record coming. We're about 4 songs in. It takes a while to write our records, but we're super stoked. There's some exciting things happening post the COVID, and we have a few ideas that we can sort of toy around with whilst the world's still getting back to normal. It's actually interesting.
Yes, and substantial.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man.
Thanks, mate.
All right, take good care.
You too, buddy.
All right. Bye. Bye-bye. This has been No Sleep Till Sudbury with Brent Jensen and my very special guest, Mr. Leon Harrison of the Lazies. Till next time, take good care.
Brent Jensen is the best-selling author of No Sleep Till Sudbury, Leftover People, and All My Favorite People Are Broken. All titles available in stores and on Amazon worldwide.